Kenny, it seemed like it just kind of spiraled and got away from you there. What were the main factors, do you think, in that first half?
Yeah, when you can protect, a four-man rush or five-man rush with five, and you have really good wideouts and really good quarterback, and you can't get to the passer, that's a problem. So you have to max pro pressure, and it leaves everybody on one-on-ones, and then you got to be able to, win your one-on-ones at that point. So they're just a really good football team, to be honest. That's a team that can win a national championship. If that team runs the table, they deserve that opportunity, because that's one of the best football teams I've played, in my opinion, in my entire career. I put them up with the Georgia team I played last year in week 1.
How did it feel you were part of that team last year as OC, and you're seeing kind of how far that you have to get to where you want to be. What was that like in the experience?
Big people. It's a simple game. You've got to be able to block them, you've got to be able to defeat blocks, and you've got to be able to tackle them. So at the end of the day, it's very, very simple, and they have really, really big, strong people across the board, and they have really fast players that are hard to tackle. So you've got to get bigger, stronger, faster, and like I told the guys in the locker room, that's the off-season. The off-season work, right? You're not just going to show up and beat a team like that. There's a reason they're really good, right? You've got to show up in the off-season every single day with a mindset to work and get better and think about those games where we just get physically dominated. And you have to say, okay, that's why I'm in here right now, because I remember that moment where we couldn't do anything. And it's a helpless moment. And, moving forward in this program, we're not going to have those moments. But right now, that's who we are.
Hey, Coach. Caleb Campero, Devil's Digest. Was this another one of those culture games for you, Coach, in terms of some things that you want to pull from Oregon, or some of those things that your players can see established in winning that football game, either in the offseason like you were talking about or today? And then, I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah, what I want to see, I challenge our guys at halftime, let's go win the second half. Like, this game, let's just go win the second half. That was it. And they went out there, and they won the second half. And that's not a win, and that's so blah, 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 blah. I understand it. But you know what? It shows the guys are actually trying to do what I ask. They're trying to compete, right? And that's the big thing, right? And they did that, and now it's a problem. But for us, it's exactly what championship teams look like, the highest level of teams. Across the board, big, strong, fast, good QB play. That's what you strive to be as a program.
Secondly, you kind of talk about being big, fast, and physical like Oregon. Can you kind of paint the picture of, just how different it is in terms of that's an O-line that's been playing together 11 games now and has established the line of scrimmage where, you have had to kind of deal around the fact of different guys kind of plugging in and out. Obviously, we saw Cade go down today and just kind of touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, consistency is obviously really important at that position. But, I think the depth allows consistency to be there. When you're deep up front and you can roll throughout a game 8 to 9 linemen on a random drive, that's how you keep people healthy, right? If you're in a situation where you can only play 6, 7, right, and early in the season, well, that's how more people get banged up. So and that's how you develop. And in my perfect world, we'd be playing 8, 9 linemen a game, getting reps and rolling and developing throughout the game when you get into, where you want to be as a program.
Doug Franz Unplugged, WTSMTV.com. When I say the word tackling, do you say, hey, media member, you go out and tackle them, they're bigger and stronger than us, or was there a major tackling problem from your end today? Yeah,
there's definitely a tackling problem. We didn't tackle them well. We've been good tacklers all year, to be honest. That's been something that we've done a nice job of. They're just hard to tackle. I know you wish there was like a coaching answer, there's not. There's a one-on-one, human, tackle him. Sometimes that dude's really good and he makes you miss. Sometimes you tackle. And really good teams on offenses make that guy miss and go score. And really good teams on defenses tackle that dude every time. And it's just a really good football team.
Coach Scott Sandui, Devil's Digest. Coming into this game, Oregon, well, really at the start of the game, Oregon had what they wanted offensively. Do you credit that more so to Bo Nix's ability to really spread the ball around and get it out quick, or was it defensive mishaps that let them run the score up a little?
Yeah, I credit to them. They're a really good football team. There's nothing to take away, All right, take away the run. Well, now you play man coverage, and you have to cover 3 wideouts that are going to play on Sundays, one who could be a first-round pick with a quarterback who could win the Heisman. All right, take away the pass. All right, well, they lead the country in yards per carry. All right, and they have 3 O-linemen that are going to get drafted and a running back who's going to get drafted. So what can you take away? And then, okay, well, maybe we can catch them. Well, their quarterback gets them into good place. So they have a really, really, really good football team. And that's what I told the guys in the locker room. I said, we played a lot of games this year that I don't care our situation at the O-line and the guys hurt and what's happened and year one that we could have won. Played a lot. We were in it and we could have won football games. That team right there, that team was better than us. Point blank. Significantly better than us. And we've got to get better in the offseason. And that's what I told them. I'm like, you guys shouldn't hang your head. We did it. We gave everything we got. And that's a better football team. Point blank, simple. What do we want to do to get better for the people coming back? Work in the offseason. Put in the work, get better and better and better.
After the game, not sure if you had any conversations with Dan Lanning or Bo Nix, but if you did, is there anything from those conversations you wanted to share?
Oh, no, it was just go win the Natty. That's what I told them. Go win it. You have the ability. You know, a lot of those guys have a lot of good relationships on that football team. I firmly believe, and if you noticed, I didn't take anybody when I came here. Bram was the only guy I took, but he's from here, and he wanted to come back, and he was already, honestly, going to leave there before I got the job here. I firmly believe you leave a place better than you found it. So.
Coach, after the game, Trenton and Deshaun came in here, and they were kind of talking about how things have unfolded this season, just about growing and the culture and getting used to the culture and stuff you've established. And Trenton kind of talked a lot about how, what happened in this game, kind of what's happened in this season, just kind of like a part of life. How is that attributed to the culture you're trying to install about being a lifer?
Yeah, you got to respond to adversity. That's it. Like, that's adversity. Right now, we're doing a really good job showing up back to work and getting better, right? Didn't play well in Utah, responded, found a way to win at UCLA, right? Well, what we're not responding well is in-game. We're not responding well when somebody punches us, right? We can't regather ourselves yet. And I faced the same thing, to be honest, when I was at Florida State. We just couldn't figure out when it started to rain, it always poured. And that's part of growth. You've got to eventually learn and have enough confidence and belief that, okay, you get socked in the face, they convert a 3rd and 15 on the first drive. Relax. We got them to 3rd and 15. And then you stop the bleeding. Right now, when we get on our heels in game, that's when we really struggle. And we've played a lot of games where teams haven't really got us on our heels. They may have gotten a play or so, but when we get on our heels, we got to respond better. And that's going to take time, to just be brutally honest. I wish I could say that's just going to snap my fingers and I'm going to tell them that and we're going to respond better. If that happens, that's not how it works, right? Good football teams are years of culture. That's years of culture building there of big physical football. Before Coach Lanning got there, Coach Cristobal was there. What was he? Big physical O-line, D-line culture. They took it over. Coach Lanning put his own flair on it, added to it, right? Made it to where it is today. But the best football teams in the country have established cultures of offensive line, defensive line, physicality, and toughness. And this is another team that had that, and we got to be able to match that moving forward.
Hey, Coach. Sean Brennan, WCSN. It didn't seem like you guys ran the ball a ton. Obviously, the game got out of hand pretty fast, but even in those first couple drives, it didn't seem like you guys ran it a ton. Is there a particular reason for that?
Yep. They're really good up front. And if we have our 6 guys try to take 45 snaps of running the ball versus those guys, one, I don't know if we can hold up, and we can't afford another injury. Part of the gate is to try to get our guys a break, right? Because you have to be able, you can't just play 5 guys 65, 70 snaps in a college football game. But that's kind of where we're at. So part of that is literally to try to give those guys a rest to keep our guys healthy so we can maneuver. And there's some scheme behind it and stuff like that too, but you can't just go up there and try to run the ball versus that defensive line. That's one of the best defensive lines in football. I mean, they're gigantic, they're strong, they're long. Brennan Dorless would probably be a 2nd-round pick. I mean, really good football player.
Coach, you've told us all year that this is your dream job, and no Sun Devil wants to lose to Arizona. Especially now coming off after this loss, how do you kind of flush it to get ready now for the biggest game of the year?
I mean, I literally, like, the feeling of Saturday I don't care if we win or lose. Come Sunday, it's gone, and you repeat. Like, I know I say that a lot, and you're like, oh, how do you do it? Like, it's what you do. Like, if you get lost in the success of upsetting UCLA on the road, and you get lost in it, or you get lost in the failure at Utah, right? Well, I mean, you're going to live like this, right? We tell our guys all the time, the only people you care about are the people that care about you, the people in the building, not social media, not random people. It's the people that are right next to you. And so we're going to show up on Monday. We're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to say, they're going to ask me how I'm doing. I'm going to say, phenomenal, right? They're going to ask me what's up, and I'm going to say life, right? Like I do every single day. And we're going to repeat, 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 and we're going to repeat. And what's going to happen is Saturdays are going to start feeling better. That's it. It's the only difference in the process that's going to change is Saturdays are going to feel better. But it takes time.
Coach Michael Carasino, Pitchfork Lunch. I know you talked about the tackling, but your overall thought of the secondary, because I know that even that one touchdown catch that Franklin had, I don't think D4 could have covered him really any better. Ball just dropped in, but just your overall thoughts of your secondary today.
Yeah, really good players, man-to-man, one-on-one. So it's a great challenge. A challenge our guys all week. You can't play, if you play zone defense versus bow, they'll go up and down the field slowly and you'll lose slowly, which we could have done that. Oh, let's go play 2 Tampa all game, let them throw a quick game, make them go on 12 possession drives, and they'll score every time. Or you can challenge them, challenge your guys, have that mindset that we're going to go try to win the football game, not just keep it close. And when you do that, you have to make them win one-on-ones. And they win their one-on-ones. If you flip those one-on-ones and you turn them and those don't happen, well, maybe it's 3 touchdowns less than the first half. But they won them. So you got to give those guys credit. They made plays, they're good players, but we're always going to develop a plan that gives us the best chance to win, not the best chance to keep it close. I could give a rat's ass about keeping games close. You're going to win or you're going to lose.
Obviously, Coach, you know them as well as anybody. Did they do anything that really surprised you, either schematically or otherwise?
No. To be honest, no. I know what they do, but at the end of the day, they do a lot defensively. Felt like I know what they do defensively. They know what we used to do offensively. They did a nice job. They stopped us, but I don't think there was a drastic thing there that was a difference on either side of the ball. Because at the end of the day, the players got to go out there, and when you play a quarterback that checks a lot, he's going to check them in to whatever call you try to call, and it's a game of mental gymnastics and then execution, one-on-ones.
Coach, on the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, what were you frustrated with, and did they explain to you why they ended up throwing the flag?
Yeah, I shouldn't have run on the field. Point blank, 100% on me, right? No, nobody else's excuse, 100% on me. That's not going to happen again, unless I by design want it to happen, but I won't let that happen again. But in terms of why the center took his shoe off and threw it backwards, and I just assumed that you don't want to let an offensive lineman play a snap without his shoe on. I don't think that's safe. So I was screaming, and the snap played, and I was running on the field. Like, he doesn't have a shoe on, guys. This isn't safe. Playing interior offensive line without a shoe. So that was really, just as much, it wasn't really anything but really to protect JPJ, who I coached, and, I see him throw a shoe off, and I'm like, damn, he's a tough kid, but if he gets his foot stepped on, that's not right. So that was really what it was about. I shouldn't have run on the field, though. That's me just being protective.
Jonah, here.
Coach Jonah Crow, Cronkite Sports. You talked earlier in the week about how quickly Bo Nix gets rid of the football. How much of a factor was that in the defense's struggle today?
Yeah, he just has great balance. He actually threw the deep ball as good as I've ever seen him throw the deep ball today. He threw it at an elite level. Man-to-man deep balls, man-to-man post, fades, deep outs. Like I said, we were going to challenge them to throw versus man-to-man and put our guys in the ability to win one-on-ones and man-to-man coverage on early downs. And he made unbelievable throws. He's in my opinion, the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm obviously probably a little bit biased, but he's the Heisman Trophy. He should win the Heisman Trophy.
Coach, you know, when you came into this program, a lot of people would have said you walked into a train wreck. It's your first time. You're heading up a big Division I program. You've played 3 teams now that had a Heisman Trophy, 1 winning quarterback, 2 potential Heisman winners. Looking back on this first year, has it been harder than you thought it was going to be?
No. I've done this process before. To be honest, it's been easier because our kids have bought in more than I was expecting. Usually, kids don't, follow instantly, especially the guys that were here. But we have a good group of leaders that were here, the Jordan Clarks of the world, the Chris Edmonds, the BJs, right, and the Trentons, and the Joeys, the list could go on. And then we brought in good people. So I actually think it's been easier to try to establish the culture we're trying to establish. Obviously, Saturdays, that doesn't affect the results on Saturday yet, but I've been through this exact situation before, and I know exactly what it looks like. I know exactly the process to get out of it, and the process is consistency. And you come up here and you say the same thing over and over again, and eventually the fans will get annoyed that we say the same thing over and over again. They're going to get bored of it, and we'll go to the meeting room and I'll say the same thing over and over again, and guess what? We'll slowly get better. And it's not fun, but it is what it is.